Hey y'all, it's Belle. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be a recent reads, so 10 books that were recently read. It's been forever since I've done one. So these are reads from quite a while ago because I'm trying to get caught up on all the ones that I'm buying them. First one's actually the last book I reviewed before I went into my funk. So it had been waiting a while to be in a video. It's the second book in the Champions Quest series, The Questmaster's Trap by Frank L. Cole. And this was sent to me by Shadow Mountain. It is out now. And I just love this series so much. I'm just so excited to be back in this story with its characters. Amazing writing. It might have even been better than the first one. And it's still Jumanji meets Dungeons and Dragons vibes all the way. I've seen both Jumanji movies, like I always like to say, but I've never played Dungeons and Dragons. Just what I've seen and heard. That's why it gives me those vibes. There are a couple big plot twists in this one, and it was just such a great ride. I didn't know how I felt about either when they first happened, but it was done so well, I can't imagine it being any other way. It added a whole new level of mystery, danger, suspense, and just unknown to the story. Along with our characters, we learn even more about this incredible place, learn new skills, meet amazing new characters there, and see so many new imaginative things. Every detail that goes into these is so imaginative and just creative, period. I actually wish these were a game that I could play, or even a movie or TV show I could watch. It's just so engaging and gripping. It was also great seeing our kids have to step outside their quest champion comfort zone, so to speak. It forced them into different ways of thinking and strategizing, and I love seeing how they each did with something new. The high stakes and realness to this quest added to the race against time. Fast-paced suspense level immensely. It was just so good. We see some old faves and meet some new faves. Nodring and Dungle have my heart. We see some old villains and meet some new ones too. Riddles, puzzles, detailed, imaginative, incredible story, world building, friendships, adventure, action, and just living those real-life role-playing game-type dreams. Another epic ending as well. Love how it all came together. The twists and turns there, and all of the feel-good emotional vibes with the one new character. And just everything we discovered in this book has left me needing to know more, and I cannot wait for that next quest. Highly recommend. And then this one didn't get put on my Goodreads until after many of these books, but I had read it before these books because I was sent a PDF, and I usually say no to ebooks and audiobooks. Ebooks trigger my migraines. I'm going to put my hair up. First, let me tell you what it is. It's the Tarnished Book 2 in the Blameless series by E.S. Christison. And the first book became one of my all-time favorite books, period. So I was very excited about this. And like I was saying, ebooks trigger my migraines. For this, and the first book being one of my all-time favorites, I just took the migraines gratefully. This is like being back with family you haven't seen in forever and falling even more in love with them and left missing them more than ever when you're partying. These characters actually feel like family and friends to me, and it's a feeling I've only really experienced with these characters in the story. Unique and fascinating magic system, endearing, lovable characters, and strong, engaging writing. It was so nice to not only see the uncles again with Bree, but also getting to see Bree get to be with her two closest friends so much, especially on an adventure and when she needs the most. Such a great team and friendship family dynamic in here. The found family aspect is just superb as well. Plus, there was a new character I really enjoyed, plus their connection to a character from the first book, and I'm just so intrigued to see what happens next there. This kept me on the edge of my seat even more, just as full of action and adventure. I loved how the danger, suspense, and action were just as great, more so even, but in a different way this time. I love the race against time, on the move, looking over your shoulder vibes so much. I love when a series keeps the same vibes each book, but with a notable difference as well. Also, at the same time, this one is just as full as those feel-good, makes your heart full moments. I'm already desperate for more. The overall plot and just the overall way the story unravels at the perfect pace too. It's just genius. The backstory, the villain, the sister, the blameless, the uncles and their family, Bree, her friends, and more combine to make up the most incredible story. Incredible world story building and character growth and development. The magic system in here is so unique. It's just beautiful, really. The people who become blameless and why, it's incredible. Also, even more political tension and intrigue in here. Just so many amazing parts that make up the whole of these books. A huge twist and bombshell in here too. Never saw it coming, and I couldn't read fast enough. It's just so good. Diving back into this world was like coming home, only to a home I wish I could really go to with my favorite uncles waiting. And the author sent me a finished copy also, so thank you doubly much. And there's a blurb in here by me, and it made me so happy, and I needed it most, just like the story itself did, so thank you. Crazy seeing a blurb for me in a book, so thank you. That just made my day. Thank you so much. Then Alan Gratz's team in Scholastic has sent me 2 Degrees by Alan Gratz. It's an advanced reader's copy, and this is out now. And this was such a powerful read. While it's a fictional book, there's so much truth at the core of this that it's scary, because the truth of what we're doing to our planet is scary. I really enjoyed the alternating points of view from different locations that end up connecting in the end from their own struggles from the effects of climate change. It did sometimes read like a nonfiction book, pushing the points home, but I overall enjoyed it and stayed on the edge of my seat with the adventure, danger, and suspense parts. I enjoyed all the characters we read from. The boys were a riot, though, when called for. I loved their whole story, and I also loved how it was pointed out the polar bears being violent with humans when it happens is not their fault, but our own. And even though the boys who had been in danger from the bears made sure none were harmed, just love that. Highly recommend. And finally reviewed the second book after reviewing the first. The author had sent me the whole series in the Catmage Chronicles, Meryl, Yourish, and the second book is Darkness, Ascendant. And I love this one even more than the first book. This one took everything to the next level, and there weren't any sad parts for me either. I'm just so impressed with the writing. Patches is still just the absolute best. I really grew quite fond of Laylee in this one as well. Golden Eyes and Letson might actually have started becoming my absolute favorites in here, though, especially when together. Just such a great dynamic. Great pace. There's new danger added into the recurring threat throughout, so that there's still a newness for each story. Just as much danger, action, suspense, and more, with some of the best characters ever, human and cat and Catmage alike, that you root so hard for to succeed in the face of evil, human and Catmage alike. Just highly recommend. And then I finally reviewed the last one in the series, this trilogy, the third in the Curiosity House series, the Fearsome Firebird by Lauren Oliver and H.C. Chester. It was just incredible, and they got beautiful illustrations throughout too. Still think about this trilogy. It's so phenomenal. Each book was even better than the last. I love the gothic, strange, unusual vibes with the Addams Family monsters feel if they were in a gothic, mysterious, huge house in old New York full of freaks and curiosities. Just so good. These characters and all their uniqueness that make them each so extraordinary grab your heart. So does Mr. Dumfrey, who is basically like their adoptive father. He is kooky, quirky, and so kind. The villain is truly evil and willing to do anything to have the perfect weapons. There's a spy, a dastardly plot to destroy beautiful New York, a stunning yet mysterious tattooed lady, and even a flea circus in here. Plus so much more. Such an intricate and compelling story that unfolds at the perfect pace and comes together beautifully and leaves you satisfied. Great messages woven throughout the story as well. Just loved it and highly recommend it. And then Monster Club by Darren, Aronofsky, and Ari Handel and HarperCollins has sent me this. Thank you so much. This is out now. There's illustrations throughout. This is such a wild, imaginative, and fun read. I had such a great time with this. This is full of great life lessons and messages about change, letting go of what you thought life was going to look like in one way and adjusting to it going another direction and accepting it, change in general, and dealing with our inner monsters. Friendships are a big thing that change for kids over time. As you grow up, interests change, and the people you gravitate to change. Also, families can change, whether it's growing or separating, divorcing. All hard life events for any kids, so very relatable with that. Plus some bullying aspects in here as well. The whole backstory of the park, the family, the monsters, just loved it. Just so creative and unique. I felt so in love with these monsters alone, not to mention their kid artists. The ending was so good. The epilogue also left me very eager for the next book. Just such a great time. I had A Spoonful of Murder by Robin Stevens. I think this is the 6th book in the Murder Most Unladylike series. And I just love this series so much. Each book just made me more and more attached to the characters. The writing's amazing. I can almost hear Daisy's dialogue with her amazing way of speaking clearly in my head. The plot and location of this one was just superb. It was so nice being on Hazel's home turf for once in Hong Kong. We've seen her father before, but this was completely different and incredible. It's where she's from. Her whole family is there. Hazel really shined while at home. She became the focus, and Daisy was not used to being ignored. It was good for her, though, I think. The whole story of this one and connecting parts of the whole bigger mystery and crime were blended together effortlessly and came about at a brilliant pace. Things we learn even more about with Hazel's family, her culture, Hong Kong itself. It's just so gripping and so engrossing. was shocked at the outcome. Daisy and Hazel may seem so different with their very different personalities, but now having books at both girls' homes, you see how alike in many ways they and their lives and families are in a lot of ways. So I just loved it so much. Highly recommend, of course. And then I read the fourth in the Myrtle Hardcastle, Myrtle, I cannot speak today. Myrtle Hardcastle Mystery Series by Elizabeth C. Bunce and Algonquin. Young readers had sent me this, and this is in Myrtle Peril. So it's the fourth book, and it is out now. I was so excited when they asked if they could send me this. It's one of my all-time favorite series. Detective, mystery, middle grade, historical fiction, Victorian, the humor, the cat, Miss Judson, the governess. Her dad is so great. Like I just said this, just great humor, quite witty, even dry at times. Just great dialogue and banter, which is also witty and quite clever. Amazing characters, incredible murder mysteries, each so different than the last. For some cherries on top of all that, you have an amazing middle grade cat who talks and participates like he's just like they're another detective without even talking. Then the footnotes and chapter headings are just brilliant. Such a small detail that isn't so small, and what it adds to these books. One of my favorite touches. It's so good. This mystery had so many parts, aspects, puzzle pieces. Even the murder victim itself was quite a mystery for a while there. Myrtle will always be my favorite, along with Peony, of course. But I do love Miss Judson and Cook. And I've always adored Myrtle's father, even when he didn't have much page time. So I was so overjoyed with how involved he was in this one. He was even greater than ever, and because of his circumstances, even more adorable and so funny. What Myrtle finds in the desk drawer, I believe it was has me very eager to see what will happen next with that. It was great seeing a different setting at times in this one, as well as continuing to see how things were done, how life was then, etc. Cannot wait for the next book. I hope this series continues for a very long time. Highly recommend. And then I finally reviewed the third book in the Tale of Magic series by Chris Colfer, A Tale of Sorcery. I think it's the last book. I haven't seen anything about it anymore, so I don't think it'll be as long as The Land of Stories, but who knows. I've always said The Land of Stories is what got me into middle grade, and I always have a special place in my heart, so it was so great to be back in this world and learning more about certain characters from the original series. And this series was maybe even more of everything I love, geared towards maybe an older age range than the original one, and it was just incredible. Suspense and danger were amped up even more in this one, especially with the high stakes and race against time aspects at the final stages. Edge of my seat. Such great overall plot that came together beautifully and connected. There's some things I could do without in here, but I just ignored them and focused on the overall good. I think book one is my favorite of the three if I had to pick. Bristol is an amazing main character, and I loved reading her story. Lucy is my favorite, though, and will always have my heart. Just a little quick mention, it's very tiny. Murder Most Only Like Mini Mystery, The Case of the Missing Treasure by Robin Stevens. So, it's a very short story from this amazing series, and it was a blast. Being in London, staying with Daisy's Uncle Felix, plus having the junior Pinkertons there, it was just such a fun adventure. It was a light mystery for our detectives, no murder. So I loved it. It was just such a fun, great time, and just a little break from the other more dense mysteries. So I had a fun time with that. All right, y'all, that's it for those 10. I already have 10 more ready for another one, so that's good. Sorry it's been so long. I'm trying to get out of the funk. I think I was 70 to 80 behind, so it's going to take a minute to get unbehind on the reviews. But have you read any of these? Did you like them? Did you not? Let me know in the comments. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you would like to subscribe, I would love that if you'd like to. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.